And so even smart people fall for the halo effect because it's not built on your intellect; it's built on emotions. So anyway, moving on. Reciprocity bias is when somebody gives you money or benefits, the human brain feels pressure to return the favor. So this is what Harvard did. Harvard got the money from Epstein; they returned the favor. Lawrence Summers did too. There's also something called the principal agent issue in finance, and what this kind of means is that when Lawrence Summers was interacting with Epstein, he wasn't really interacting on behalf of Harvard in sort of an ethical way. He was supposed to be representing Harvard, but he really wasn't. He was really representing himself. Because the stuff that he would consult Epstein about, like how do I get this girl to sleep with me, that ain't got nothing to do with Harvard. I'm sure the board would not have approved of that. So this sounds like it was something that was more of a personal kind of thing. But of course, with him being the president of Harvard, it's going to reflect on the institution. Um, there's also something called utility maximization bias. And what does that mean? Well, this comes out of what they call economic decision theory, that basically says that people naturally seek the greatest benefit at the lowest cost. You seek the greatest benefit at the lowest cost. Everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die. Everybody wants the harvest, but no one wants to plant seeds. Everyone wants the benefits. Nobody wants to sacrifice. I mean, I want you to really think about how many people you know. Tell me, let's reflect on this consciousness exercise. How many of you know a lot of people who say, I want to have a lot of money, but when you ask them, well, what are you doing to have a lot of money? They can't really answer you. They're making no sacrifices to get money, but they think money's magically going to appear out of the sky. They say, well, what do you want? Oh, I want to be rich. Okay, well, how are you going to get rich? I don't know. Well, what are you doing what are you doing different that's going to make you rich? Nothing. Right. Like that doesn't make logical sense. But utility maximization theory says that inherently as humans, we kind of want it all and we want it fast and we want it now. And we want it easy. Like, and the Gen Zers, you guys fall for it quite often. I can't tell you how many times I've met 24-year-olds who think they should be the CEO in 2 weeks. Because they just, it's like, no, why should I sacrifice? I should have it now. One time I had 15 years ago, there was a young lady that wanted to intern with me, and she was a Spelman student. She was a sophomore, and I talked to her. And I said, "So, what are your goals?" And she said, um, "I'm gonna be as rich as Oprah Winfrey and as successful and as famous." And I said, "Really?" I said, "That's a pretty big goal." I said, "Okay." And she said, "And it's gonna happen in 2 years." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it in 2 years." And so me, I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be like a dream killer. I'm already enough of a hater, but because I say stuff that makes people mad. But I don't want to be a dream killer because who knows? Maybe you can do it. But I was like, well, you do know it took Oprah a long time to become Oprah be as rich as she is. And she's like, yeah, but I can do it because if I put my mind to it, I can do anything. I was like, okay, that's Spelman confidence, right? I don't know many Spelman graduates who are not successful women. So whatever they got in the food, I approve of it. It's they inject it with confidence, and I think that that's what makes Spelman special. But if you're talking about trying to become the next Oprah Winfrey in 2 years, that's going to require quite a lot of a sacrifice. And and as you can imagine, she didn't become Oprah in 2 years. She actually got pregnant and dropped out the next semester. And I saw, but I did see her like 15 years later, and she's raised a really beautiful child, and she's doing well because she's a Spelman woman.